Clive enters Tekken 8. Strive producers say sorry. And we get a new Virtua Fighter. Welcome to Double Tap. This is a podcast dedicated to everything and anything in the fighting game community. I am your host, Crash, and with me I've got Static Gorilla and Meza in the building for this week's episode. What's going on, fellas?
Hello. I'm here.
Yeah, we're here. This is actually the last episode of 2024. This is episode 399. We'll be coming into the new year, 2025. Pretty strong, and one hell of an episode to go out in a bang with, man. Game Awards went down, announcements came out, and like we said, some people are saying sorry about some things that we'll get into, but let's just jump into it. Let's go with there's so many flavors to choose from. Let's go with Virtua Fighter, because we were covering it an episode or two before that when the Revo or the 2.0 update was announced, and we even were like, there's no way they were doing this without having something in the pipeline. They just, like maybe a couple months later, maybe if they once they let Revo out and the 2.0 update go out and we see what goes down, they kind of gauge interest, right? It's a pretty known tactic to do. No, they came out in the Game Awards with the announcement, new Virtua Fighter is in the works. There's a lot that went in. Did you guys check out the Virtua Fighter Directs? They had little episodes going on as well, kind of breaking down more about what they got going on, because it isn't just a game, man. They got a lot that they want to do.
Yes, I did catch it after the show. It was like, here's the Game Awards, and then at midnight it's like, we got more, and I'm like, all right,
more.
And it was just a lot of thank yous and a lot of here's what to expect. But like it was like, all right, that's what we're working on. Here's everything else. And I'm like, oh, but we want to see more of what we're working on, guys.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me, because it also was a celebration, right? Yes. 30 years of Virtua Fighter. Like it was no joke when I said it was an triple OG game. Like it does date its way back. But it was like some really cool little factoids they put up on that VF Direct. Like the original team from Virtua Fighter 5 back in 2006 are together again to do this one, which is like fucking bonkers. Some real OGs. The current producer, Rishido Yamada, is the one who's going to be leading this project. And they just go through a bunch of, like you said, they go through a lot of thanks, right? A lot of appreciation. It was a big celebration of the franchise, including things like re-releases of like Virtua Fighter 2, Virtua Fighter 5, some physical like limited runs that they're going to be doing, right? Some collectors, as well as a tournament series. All right, VF Open Championship was announced. It's gonna start this spring, 2025. So they, we had already talked about it and even like covered that Sega was like, we're really looking into esports, and they showed like Akira and stuff in a little bit of a tease of it, like way earlier in the year.
Well, remember they're also in Evo Japan already. Like this,
and
the PC port was already going to Evo Japan.
Yes, Revo will be at Evo Japan. It is one of the games to show out there, which makes sense, to be perfectly honest. It is very popular out there, more than the West, but maybe with the new version that's going to come out, that'll change quite a bit, because they were putting some big promises. They were like, returning players are not going to be, they're going to be satisfied. Newcomers are going to be satisfied. They're working on there was, like I said, there was a lot of talks. The producer Yamada was like, I had to ask myself, what is Virtua Fighter? Like, it got kind of philosophical for a little bit, but at the end he was like, it was about innovation. It was about making it better and doing its own thing. So they were like, we're tackling everything. We're tackling the gameplay. We're tackling the look. We're tackling the competitiveness of it, the style, which, I mean, the style, I think they got it checked out. I did not think that was Akira.
No,
during that trailer,
think it is still.
No, it is. It
doesn't seem like him.
It's just he's got steez. He went from like generic, like we joke Ryu is like generic karate guy, but I mean at least he's got a fireball and hurricane kick, kind of puts him out. Akira's got like the shoulder and all, but he is generic karate guy number 9 that you see in Mugen's, right? He's like the cousin to that guy.
Yeah, he is karate. He
don't look that way no more. So
want to talk about the trailer, by the way.
Yeah.
Me and Meza were watching it, and we're like, nah, nothing's going on. We just see the crow. We see the thing. Yeah, that's what he said. And then I saw the shadows, and I said, shut up, Meza. I said, stop everything. stop. And we have footage. I should definitely like cut it up for you guys. But it's like, stop. And then I was like, okay, I think this is something. And we saw the shoulder and I'm like, I don't know. And it wasn't until the VF that it was. But like, I should have known it from the sound effects that were happening in the shadows. But man, does the gameplay that they showed, man, and it's only like 10 seconds of gameplay.
It's only like 10 seconds. So we did get to see confirmed 2 characters right now, one being Akira, the other being Stella.
Sarah?
It's not
Stella.
No, it's not Sarah. A lot of people thought it was Sarah, but no. Sarah Bryant is who we're talking about. She's the blonde haired, kind of like Nina Williams looking kind of character, right? In the game. And no, it's not her. It looks real close to her, has the jumpsuit and everything. But there's like, this is where like I was even finding out about Virtua Fighter lore, where it's like there's like a corporation and Sarah might have been cloned and Stella might actually be the clone and such. Because there's like some similarities, but there's definitely some differences. But yeah, we got to see some of the gameplay, like quick 10-second clip. That shit looks kind of fire. I'm not gonna lie. There was no UI elements. Like you didn't get to see any UI. It was just straight action, which was weird for me. But at the same time, I kind of liked it. I'm not gonna lie,
no, something that caught me when I was watching it, it reminded me of when I first saw like Street Fighter 4 and like those developmental stages, seeing all the dust particles and all the different things, like stuff that I never saw before when I'm looking at Street Fighter. Like I remember my first footage is like Ryu and Ken, I think, and like on the airship stage, and I remember just seeing the fireball and the dust under it, and I'm like, what is this Street Fighter thing?
Next level.
Holy cow. Yeah. So it blew my mind.
Taking a note from Street Fighter as well, they kind of like redid their logo like in the celebration, and they're kind of going the route of Street Fighter 4, like, you know, being the revival for the Street Fighter franchise. I don't say for revival, but like it was the revival of Street Fighter for the masses, and like Virtua Fighter seems to be doing the same thing. They kind of have like this ink block, you know, brush stroke thing going on. I was like, I had to look at the calendar and be like, what year is this again? Oh, okay. All right, we're in 2024. Got it.
I'm actually gonna say it looked more like Tekken when it came up with the ready sign and everything, less the extra stuff.
I can see that too.
The
I
ready
can see
sign
that
when
too.
Akira walks off, it's like,
big and red and bold. Yeah.
But
you can see some similarities there.
The thing for me, it may seem weird, but this gives me, I hate saying this gives me like DOA like smoothness. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah,
like
it does.
The flow.
I was trying to pin it
smooth.
down.
It's
I was trying to
DOA.
pin it down myself too. When I was watching the footage again and again, I'm just like, yo, what is it about this? Like this Sifu ass, DOA ass type of flow that I'm like kind of feeling right now. Like it isn't a It was just like just fluidity.
I'll
water.
definitely say the cool part is, and I hope this stays within the game. I hope it does. You never know. They might be like, this is just too much. They don't stay on that. You know how normally the camera's on a 2D, like left and right screen?
Yeah, like
even
just
with,
parallel.
Yeah, even with Tekken, even with DOA, they move a little bit, but you're never in like almost the foreground and in the background. It feels like it shifts a little bit based off of the moves and the movement.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
it
oh
definitely
my God.
does. It definitely does.
Look,
it gives a real different feeling to it.
I also love that we're not doing ring outs anymore. Please let that be a thing.
We don't know. We don't know that. We don't know that.
Let me fight in the streets. Let me fight in the streets. Let me do it. But here's the thing.
Hey, listen, rock, paper, scissors, wall or no wall?
There you go.
Wall.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Wall / breakable wall.
Yeah, and I didn't mean to interrupt. You were saying, go ahead.
But look, I gotta be realistic here, okay? I love Virtual Fighter. But is this really going to stick? Right? This is the biggest thing. It always happens. It comes out. It's played for about US. Let me correct
flash in a pan kind of deal.
Yeah, it's like fire, and then it's just like, and granted, that previous release, which was like the update, why they did that, they should have just been like, we're gonna drop this, right? The reason why I say that is because that re-release / update was cool, but it didn't last more than probably like 2 or 3 months, and everybody's back to playing Street Fighter 6. Then Mortal Kombat came out. And, you know what I mean? Like, it felt temporary.
Hold up. Whoa. Revo isn't even out yet.
Yeah, Revo ain't even
Revo's
out.
only in
No,
beta.
I'm gonna throw it out there. I'm not gonna
okay.
treat it like
you're saying
Yeah, I'm
you're
saying,
saying
like,
that's what it's gonna have.
is this
I was
gonna
confu-
happen,
Yeah, I got you, Static. I was like, hold the phone.
Hold on, no,
Hold the clock.
Yeah, I have to. I'm trying to be realistic,
Gotcha.
right? Because we have anime games that come out,
Yeah,
die off
yeah,
fast.
yeah.
We have other fighting games that try to do something new, die off fast. It gets killed by the big three or big four, right? So
It's difficult, especially when some of these games have like also been around the block longer now, right? Kind of established their market, like Street Fighter 6, right? 2 years now, Guilty Gears, and what is it, like 4 years or something at this point. Tekken's already come around to its 1 year mark, and people have like chosen their sides, right? They're riding their flag, and to like jump on another one, it's a big ask. And also Virtua Fighter being what what was Guilty Gear, right? Niche of a niche. Like Guilty Gear was not mainstream until Strive. This could be Virtua Fighter's Strive, where it could actually kind of plan itself, because now we have a whole other generation. 15 years, dog, since this game was really touched. Yeah. There are kids that were born 15 years ago that are now playing fighting games that have no fucking clue what a Virtua Fighter is, and this will be their first one.
I will say, I pray that this game can survive in this environment and be one of the big four or the big five. Granted, and I'm going to say this wholeheartedly, I love all the fighting games that are out, but Street Fighter 6 has the money. That's where they hold their spot. I don't care if you think it's a good game or bad game.
$1 million.
No, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Wait.
No.
1 million.
No.
We're
What's up?
There is a donor who was in the thank yous. They are building the tallest roller coaster in Saudi Arabia.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, you know what? Good fucking point, bro. They are gonna be in that. As soon as I saw that gentleman, that representative show up, I was like, ooh, there might be some money in here.
Look, I'm gonna say it again.
SNK money.
Look, I'm gonna say it again.
Yes.
You have that type of money. People are gonna question it all the time and not support it based off of XYZ.
You want SNK? We own SNK.
I want
We'll sell you
I want
SNK.
Tencent money. I just want Tencent money. We have Tencent money. We're safe. We're good. We're always going to survive, right? But I mean, like, with the demographic that's coming, you got 2XKO down the road, right?
Yeah.
So, like, it's like, where's the space for Virtua Fighter?
I mean,
and
well,
I would love to say this. Like I said, Street Fighter 6 has the money, right? Technically, that's what their trope has been, outside of the game being a good game or a bad game to some. But that is what it is, right? And then Strive has the anime. No one's touching anime when it comes to Strive right now. I hate to say it. Then you have Tekken. It kind of got 3D on lock. DOA hasn't survived long enough. What else is there? Not
Tekken's
really.
got thirst traps. We're gonna talk about that in a little bit.
But now we have Virtua Fighter coming in, which is 3D, niche. So technically, kind of like Guilty Gear. What else is it going to compete against? 2XKO when it comes out, because that's definitely going to blow it out the water, 100%. Regardless whether you wanted to play Virtua Fighter or not, 2XKO is going to grab everyone from every game for the time being. So that's a big order to ask somebody to step away from their main game to play a side game that isn't probably going to be 2XKO when that comes out, right? So I feel like this has, as much as I love Virtua Fighter, it has a limited lifespan. And I hate saying that because I like it enough to the point where it looks like it could be long.
I don't want to take too long because we're getting near the point of the ad. But here's the thing: I feel like the audience for Virtua Fighter, it might still be there because it was closely aligned with DOA. DOA had brought in Akira, Pi, Sarah, and Jackie. Thank you. And
Jackie,
thing is, like, you had they were there, and also in Virtua Fighter they had those Tekken costumes as well. If you remember the Final Showdown 2.0 or whatever it was, whatever it was. However, like, so they obviously know who their audience is, the 3D players. So I don't think that they'll be scarce in that regard. I remember SoCal Regionals, one of the SoCal Regional or NorCal Regionals, there was a lot of hype for a Virtua Fighter tournament. So like, there's hype there. They're hype when they're at Evo. Virtua Fighter is a lot like the Soul Calibur troops, where when their tournament is happening, they will show up. My problem with me playing Virtua Fighter is that my only thing is nostalgia from playing on Sega Saturn and like playing Virtua Fighter Kids, which I thought was cool too, but I'm not going to play it at the competitive level. I'm literally going to just, like, I was even doing their combo trials and I'm like, this is a lot to remember when it's playing like Leon or Lion, where he has like a bunch of different stances, and I'm just like too intimidated to learn them. Even what's the guy with the long hair? He's now has gray hair in this one. He was in the first two.
Is he got the
Faye?
key with the chain?
Faye?
The chain belt looks kind of like a weird knockoff Ken.
No. He's an old guy.
Oh, never mind.
Whoever's the main old guy, Peng.
The old guy.
He goes, "Oh yeah." When you punch, kick, he'd be like, "Oh yeah." Whatever, man. Leave me alone. Look, I like that dude. I always liked him when I was a kid, and I was like, man, he's got a lot of stances. And I'm like, just intimidated by the game, and I'm like, I might just enjoy watching this game.
Yeah,
but at the same time, I could just be an arcade mode guy, But at the end of the day, I'm hyped for people that are Virtua Fighter fans that want to play Virtua Fighter again. I know that there is a demographic for it, like people that played on the Sega Saturn.
And it's not here.
And there is many people that haven't played
No,
it
I
either
think it
once
is
again.
here because there are 40-year-old dudes that are just listen.
You ready for me to give you stats? Real quick?
You want to give you stats? Hold up. These dudes are retired. What stats are you going to bring when they've retired 10 years ago?
Stay retired because 2024 Evo. How many players did they have? 24. 24. I don't want to fucking hear it, dude. If it was Japan, you could fight that. You can't fight this.
Evo
24.
what? Evo what,
Evo
though?
2024. Evo 2023 for
it's
just
a side
Japan.
game.
For Japan, it is 800 players. Yes, I will give you that demographic. But side game my ass. It just came. It revitalized.
Evo Japan? Are you talking about Evo Japan this year, or what year? What of the upcoming?
2023 alone. 2023 alone.
But it wasn't a main game, was it?
What, at Evo Japan?
Was it a main game?
Yes. I'm looking at the main games. It was a main game. My thing is,
how many?
8. That had 796.
You said it was,
but if you look at Evo 2024, Evo, our Evo, America, where it should still be booming because there's such an audience, 24 fucking people. I don't believe. No, not gonna buy it.
Okay,
you can say all these people can pay for the game, but none of them show up to Evo to even play their prospective game.
Because nobody even shows up to Frosty's to play. Like,
brother,
come on, like,
brother. If we have more DNF Duel, that's bad. There you go.
It's a side game at Evo. It didn't, like, people are still like, oh, why don't we have this thing in there? It was still there, but it's not on the main stage. When we think about Evo, we think about the first 8 games that are on stage. We're not going to think about the side games that people are playing. Even if you win the side game at Evo, are people going to say, damn, he won Evo? No. They don't matter. You think Remora actually won Marvel vs. Capcom 3? Ultimate Marvel 3?
Brother.
No, he didn't. SacTap got second place.
DNF
Great,
Duel.
but he didn't win.
45 fucking people for DNF Duel. You hear me, right? Evo. Yet Virtua Fighter is supposed to be the better game. And it is.
Not an official game.
Neither of them were.
Yeah.
So why do we have more people in that?
Because it's also not in the main registration. You got to go to a whole different registration to register.
Newer, and also
not newer.
DNF Duel.
Okay, fine, sure. Newer,
DNF
but got
Duel
you. It got more hate and shot down before any game that ever had a chance. Virtua Fighter had a bigger chance and a bigger following still.
15 years ago.
It's still bigger technically, right?
Maybe.
If we go over to Japan, it's going to be bigger than DNF Duel, hands down.
Here's the thing.
But
how many eyes?
But okay, I said US, right? Because that's what we're talking about. The US, I don't think it's going to survive.
How many eyes did just see that this was there? There's 217,000 views on the video that was up 3 days ago of the Direct. So there are people that are watching this. There are people that saw the Game Awards that are watching it. Whenever I say there's a 40-year-old dude, I'm thinking of Hubs, who's down the road in like Chester County that plays it and used to play it a lot, and his sons who are now of age. No, I'm just saying he's in the area. I'm just saying he's of age where he's down there and he plays the game. He's gonna bring like people that are like Big E old to play the game again, or even tell their sons, hey, this is how you do this. I'm gonna teach you how to play if you want to play, and then they'll end up liking it. Who knows? I'm just saying.
It'll have his market. I think that's what we were trying to say. It'll definitely have his market. There's no doubt in that. We'll just have to see. Once again, people said the same thing about Guilty Gear because it had its thing, but it was not even big over in the US. It was more of a Japan game. It took till Strive to come out before it actually like really hit mainstream. Virtua Fighter has that opportunity to do it as well. We're just gonna have to wait and see. Yeah, I know. Temps are high right now.
I'm gonna pull stats for the next episode. For the next time we come back.
I really quickly want to say there was a moment at one of the Biggie tournaments. It was in Tekken, yes, but there was one moment where a player he won the tournament, and Biggie stood up and said, "Hey guys, this is my man. He won the tournament, but this is the last tournament because he's going to go work on his family and everything. He's got a baby along the way. That was maybe 10 years ago. Imagine his son now, 10 years old. Virtua Fighter God. I'm just saying. I'm just having fun.
He's going to go to paint pictures in the sea. I'm telling you that now.
We'll see. We'll see. All right. So with that, let us know what you guys think about Virtua Fighter and the new one. Are you picking it up? We want to hear about it. Let us know. In the meantime, we're going to be taking a quick break. We need a breather from that. Bez needs to calm himself down a little bit. But we will be right back after this. We'll be joining Tekken 8 with their newest thirst trap that has just joined. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. All right, we're back from the break. Let's talk some Tekken 8 and the newest character to be added. Well, technically, if you've got early access to it, you can actually play him right now. That is Clive Rosfield from Final Fantasy 16. Big announcement. Sorry to all the Tifa hopers and wanters and needers. I was in that camp with you. Clive, from what we understand, watching the additional director, dev talk about the character, seems like Clive's looks was good enough to be seen by the Tekken team and the director and such, and be like, we need to put him in. Basically, Clive rizzed his way into getting into Tekken 8. Like it was like his gaze. Once I saw that, I was like, bro, what are we talking about here? Like, what did he just say? And he's like, yeah, his gaze. I just had to get him in. I was like, good lord, this guy is so good looking. He got himself to be a guest in another game. Damn, ain't that some shit? Yeah. So he's currently not out, but out. Like, as of this recording, it's early access. By the time this episode is live, he should be out. And yeah, dude, it's literally like T-minus 0 days. So I've gotten to check out some Twitch streams. I've gotten to check out some the move lists on the character. I think he has probably the most cinematic kit in the whole game. Like everything he does leads to some sort of cutscene within it. And I love the callbacks. Like, he is such a callback to so much. So I played 16 like crazy. Like, I beat the shit out of Final Fantasy 16. It's a very fun game. When you think Final Fantasy, you don't think Devil May Cry style combat, because that's what it was. Like I'm just keep it a buck. Like, that's what that game was. And they were able to kind of really translate a lot of his kit in here. Very summon based. TLDR, he can use summons and their different powers. And the summons are, yes, Ifrit, Leviathan, Titan, Shiva, Odin, Ramu. I think I said Bahamut, but I'm not sure. Bahamut and Garuda. That's 8.
Sure.
And they're all being represented in some way in his kit, which is crazy. Titan has armored punches, right? He has some crazy launchers and some armored punches. Bahamut has counters and such, which is true. That's what the character did in the stance in the game. He also has precise dodge mechanics on top of that, and he has additional parries. And then he's got Phoenix 9 fucking 9 different summons he's representing. He has Phoenix Flare. He has the Ifrit dash to cancel options as well. And Static, you were just playing them and just
Phoenix
trying
dash.
out. Huh?
I believe that was Phoenix Dash, but yes.
Phoenix Dash, excuse me. And you were just playing them, and instantly you were like, yo, he does damage.
Yeah, it feels good. It feels really good. It's not necessarily, what's that word, heat gauge involved, but I mean, it can get in there. I mean,
you can get in there with it.
You can use that very start of the match. So I mean, but still, his launcher, it was 2 hits. It felt weird, but something to get used to. I mean, it's a punish button, I believe. What did we see the startup was 17? So it's a
17,
big punish sort of thing. I mean, you want to throw it out there. It goes pretty far.
He's got range. He's got a sword. Got range.
Exactly. I mean, I saw a meme earlier that was like, "Oh, you're mad he's a sword character. What about Yoshimitsu? What about Kunimitsu? What about What about Victor? What about Victor? What about all these other characters that had a sword?"
True.
I'm
Victor has a gun.
And he has a sword.
And he has both. My man said, I'm doing both.
He's got
teleport, shoot you from far.
Sunglasses.
Yeah, he's got it all.
I can't stand that character too.
Are we kind of getting to the point where it's not that guest characters, but we could start seeing more normal characters have weapons? Because this has never been always a Tekken thing. It's been kind of more of a Soul Calibur thing. Do you think we could start seeing that? Because he reminds me of Noctis. When Noctis came in, people were like, oh, sword stuff, right? Yoshimitsu was originally just the weapon character, but he didn't always use the weapon. So now we're
it wasn't. He isn't wielding his sword the same way Clive is in this game. I'm hearing the same thing. I'm hearing like there's some Noctis kind of feels, but not like in a sense of like movesets. It's just like the feeling and like the way his kit is. There's teleporting and a lot of moving around. And I'm hearing like Noctis / Dragunov mix with someone else is like what he's kind of feeling like right now, which I'm like, that's kind of dangerous.
I'll throw this out there. I actually think from just watching him, he gives me like Geralt vibes from Soul Calibur, which is very interesting.
I can see that.
He has like some of the now this is for those who don't know. He does have some of the same animations, and obviously they're going to reuse their same company. So I mean, you could see some of the moves are from Noctis a little bit. At least the animations slightly, ever so different. But even Geralt moves. But I don't know. He seems like the most unique character. I think it's going to take a lot. I just hope he isn't like the Akuma of the game, where people are like, damn it, he's just. We won't know until like later down the road, right? He has so many tools for so many options.
1-1 jailing, he's like +8, and even at the worst -8 in most of his heat engaging moves and his strings. Like he's got a strong start. This is just very early. Once again, this is like day 0. This is just people literally lapping it up this discovery day for and he's already looking really strong. For me, the weird thing about him is that he has so much. Like, don't get me wrong, Tekken characters, it's not unusual and uncommon to have like 50 different moves. But his kit is like so specific in so many areas that I'm trying to understand like where it all fits together. But once again, it's day 0, so once we see some tournament play and we actually get to see how people really kind of put the grind on with him and see what results he can come with. We won't really know. But he has a lot.
I feel like he's kind of like a mixture from like just looking at his moveset. He kind of seems like he has a mixture of like the devils mixed a little bit with like the ninjas, so Raven, Kurimitsu, stuff like that. But then the thing that really confuses me is he seems to just kind of be able to play neutral really strongly, I feel. Because just he has all these options. Movement options.
Yeah.
Like he kind of might be a problem later down the road. Will we know? I don't know. But
the only thing I'm seeing right now from what I've heard is like his mid game might not be great. Like he might not have great mids, like safe mids or anything. Like I think he doesn't have like a 13 frame mid or anything like that. He has, I think most of his mids are like kind of like -17 or whatever, or like he still has granted he has a sword, he has range, but he is still wailing it around, so you're gonna have to get some minus range somewhere. So he has a couple of he has some strings that kind of like leave him gap. But yeah, early on impressions seem to be overall positive.
It's gonna depend, like you said, in tournament mode. It's gonna depend on like how badly he snowballs people. Like what's his comeback potential? Will he always be will he lose freely to down ones? Will he lose freely to is he low parryable? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Can he deal with characters like Dragunov, Jin, Eliza, those characters? Like, can he deal with the strong? That's really what it is too. If he can hang and deal with the strong, he might be a problem, right? So
yeah, if he can play the same game as those top tiers can, then he'll be in a good spot. So besides that, there's some just additional collaboration packs that came on. It's Tekken. Tekken is not Tekken unless you got a little bit of customization with some characters. You got the Joshua Rossfield, which is his brother, and you've got Jill Warwick. I did not know that was Jill's last name. I just knew her as Jill. Some additional collaboration packs that come with some avatar skins, some additional, I don't know if they're like, it's just I actually don't even know what the item is like specifically. It's like the Moogle, or you get the Bomb King. Like, is it just like a charm that you get to have with the character that gets to float around with you and such? Ball. Is that what? Tekken Ball is the Bomb King and the bomb, but then the Nectar the Bold is the Moogle that you can just have with you. Yeah, exactly. So those collabs are also available. And this is once again, this is going to be out by the time you hear this podcast. So make sure to go check out Clive, or as I call him, Clifford, because I don't know, bro. I just
wait a minute. We're not going to talk about that stage.
Oh, the stage.
We're not going to talk about that trailer, that reveal. I didn't
mean-
know. I thought it was Final Fantasy Tactics. I don't know why. And I was like,
I mean, the
oh,
stage is dope.
okay.
The stage is dope. Without going too far into anyone that hasn't played 16, like, you know, that's the beginning stage of the game. The big incident where the summons come through and Ifrit and such you see in the background. Like, it's a very cinematic ass stage, man.
Yeah, talk about this. All right, that's it. That's all. I just wanted to. Yeah,
It is dope. No, the stage is dope. I love the
And it's
transition. I love
free.
the wall. I love the wall bounces. Yes, it is a
It
free
comes with
stage.
it. So yeah.
Yes, comes with them.
They learned. All right, sorry. I just wanted to get those out the way.
No,
you
no,
know.
for sure, for
I
sure.
feel like there's something earworm and no, I'm kidding.
And like the intro, like with Jin and him and
Yeah,
the wings and all that was kind of cool, right?
Yeah.
And with Leroy, right? You get to see
word?
Torval and Leroy's dog kind of like circle around them when they start the match. I was like,
There we go.
nice.
Yeah,
Very
we've been
nice,
asking for
very
that.
nice. Very nice. Yeah, we didn't know we wanted it, but we
Yeah.
did.
Yes.
We got it. So works out there. Yeah. So Clive is in. He's gonna be getting work done. We're gonna see how he ends up. Kind of just basically like fitting into the scheme of things here. But we'll have to just come back and check that out as time goes on. One quick heads up for you guys before we get on to the next topic. You guys can make sure, if you haven't already, make sure to check out the video version of this podcast. We have it live on YouTube, and make sure to follow us on all social media platforms. Helps a whole lot out. Let us know, lets you guys know when a new episode is up. Also, we tend to be pretty active on social, so make sure to follow us at Double Tap FGC. Once again, that's on YouTube, and of course on the Twitter space, Blue Stacks, all that good stuff. Blue Sky, excuse me. Blue Stacks is the other thing. On Blue Sky, Instagram, TikTok, all that good stuff. Let's move on to Guilty Gear. I'm gonna say Grand Blue. I must have Grand Blue on the mind because they didn't. Unfortunately, shout out to Tekken for winning fighting game of the year at the Game Awards.
A regular fighting game.
I thought it would have been Grand Blue because I think Grand Blue is a primo example of how to listen to feedback and really take on and really see a company that believes in their product and actually put in an investment to make an incredible end result. To the end of it. I think Rising could have won, but hey, you know what? Give Harada his flowers. Give Tekken 8 some love because it's Tekken 8.
Do you think technically it didn't win because, necessarily speaking, it's not really a new game? It's really not technically. But
I mean, it shouldn't have been. It shouldn't have been in the running. Then neither should have Multiverses.
I feel the same way. I mean,
if Multiverses would have won a second time, bro, that would have been such a fucking twist to the dagger that is already the Game Awards.
Why Astrobot? Why?
Yeah, the Astrobot and what is it? Balatro.
I think that game's good though.
Well, Soul and Kai are in Astrobot, so
they are in Astrobot. Absolutely, that's why I give them the pass. I was like, you know what, they did that. I think they also have Street Fighter collabs
so is
too.
Kazuya. So I mean, there you go.
All right, so speaking of some Guilty Gear, we got issued a quick announcement for an upcoming balance patch that's going to be happening December 23rd. So that's going to be later next week. Right, 23rd. Actually, next Monday. Yeah. Yes. And it's an interesting one. I have not seen. I can't honestly recall the last time I've heard about this happening to this extent. So the developers posted up. ArcSys said, "Hey, known issues from patch 1.41. Right? They had the patch that came out. Moves, changes, balances." Taking away certain things, damage is getting increased, doing a whole lot. A whole lot of this came with the Dizzy patch that dropped, and it has turned the game into, some people say turmoil, other people say fucking entertaining, other people say degenerate. I'm here for all of it, but not everyone is like that. So Arc System Works decided to kind of to address it, saying, hey, the last, we received a lot of feedback in Season 4 balance patch. With the players' feedback in mind, we've confirmed the current condition in the matches found in some aspects have departed from the development team's intentions behind the balance changes. Basically, they're like, yo, we put shit out, we heard y'all. It's not lining up with how they wanted it to really be received. Shit just did not work out.
It started in the beginning really well.
Yeah, but as we continued on, we're like, oh no, what do we have here? What the hell? So they got 3 points that they're really talking about here on the balance patch that's coming up. Adjustments for moves and damage that did not align with the intent to increase the overall number of interactions in the match. They raised defense, as a result of increased damage, right, to individual moves and the addition of certain new combos and such. It didn't turn out the way they wanted, so they're going to be adjusting the damage in line and the overall changes as well, being reassessed to some characters' move properties and reduce chip damage during guard crush. Because motherfuckers are getting guard crushed left and right. That was one of the big complaints that people are like, yo, they want to do something, add guard crush. A mechanic that is the least interactable in the game, right? You get guard crush, you literally can't do anything. You can't YRC, you can't burst, you can't reversal, you can't super. You can't do anything, and you take damage. It's like, it's not really a win when everyone's doing this to you. So they're looking to adjust that. I'm hoping they're the next two are the more interesting ones in my opinion. Adjustments to go on.
I was just gonna say, isn't this kind of these adjustments, aren't they kind of bad considering Arc Revo's not that far off? I mean, it's good they did it now, but like it's really not that far.
I mean, they did patch the game weirdly recently.
I mean, also you got to look at it like what's the better of two evils, like to get a patch before a major or let the game run in a really, really bad state that people do not like and then have a final with the results on that. Like, how do you think that's going to get perceived?
I'm just saying it's good that they're doing what they're doing now, but damn, like.
But yeah, it's still kind of tight.
I feel like this should have been something they're like really, really like. I mean, I feel like they're really on it, but I don't know what you do, because if you make it worse without noticing that you're making it worse, there's not much time to really readjust this for the Arc Revo, which is in March.
Yeah.
So
I think it should be more than enough time. Well, check out the second one. Adjustments to move properties did not align with individuals' characters' balance intentions. We adjusted areas with certain characters to balance between strengths and weaknesses for them, as well as aspects where characters struggle to show their strength in actual matches. So they're like, hey, our balance for some of these characters was off. I hope they're talking about Gold Lewis, because I am still trying to figure out what the fuck was so weak about him getting Behemoth Typhoon in general. Oh, let's just make sure he can do more than one Behemoth Typhoon and literally just like kind of checkmate you in certain situations. That was kind of rough. Let me see who else got really tapped like that. Ram kind of got tweaked a bit, but I think it was okay. She just was buggy. Really, this next character is kind of like the one that had the biggest outcry. And I can't remember a time where there's a balance patch that directly is talking about a specific character outside of like say DLC, like maybe like in the NRS area, like when a DLC character comes out and they're just fucking broken and they're like, yo, our next patch is going to nuke them because they can't be this broken.
I quickly want to go back to number 2, because number 2 also had the issue of Axel. Axel was a completely different character from somebody. So take Chris G, who doesn't play. He plays all fighting games, but he doesn't play all fighting games in training mode. So he'll go to the game and be like, all right, I want to enter. And he entered the tournament and got like 0-2 because like Axel wasn't the same. So like, for instance, if you're not playing the game and you go back to the game and even inputs are different, granted that happened in older games. So like Street Fighter 4, I want to say, Bison's inputs changed like from one Ultra to another, but it's not necessarily a huge change that I mean, that's again, long time ago. But you're talking about Guilty Gear, where it's like even inputs from previous games are almost the same. And like you got Rainwater that's not plus anymore. And what do you do? Like when it's very strange. And I mean, that goes into number 3 with a specific detail.
Yeah, number 3, restoring Potemkin's sliding special move inputs and balance adjustments in line with this change. They literally put my man Pi a specific line because they really tackled him. And that was another one. So I'm trying to understand what was the point, because they really took away a lot of the aspects that people actually enjoyed about the character. What we're talking about here, when they mean the sliding special move effect, they're talking about character canceling. For those that don't know what a character cancel is when you actually cancel the animation frames of one move, and like if they are, for an example, if it's a forward moving move, like a move that
forward
actually
momentum move that is
that actually That is canceled, and then what it's canceled into actually gains that momentum with it, and then then makes things like his backwards mega fist, right? A Kara canceled backwards mega fist was like a staple in his kit because it was plus, but you needed to have execution to do it, right? That was the balance. Like you actually had to be good at it in order to reap the rewards of
or
it,
just
right?
have a hitbox that had all the buttons and just slide your hand across. Remember
Also
that pizza
that. Yeah,
box?
right.
Yeah,
That's
what it was. Mega Fisto.
Or that. They took that away. And it wasn't that was just one aspect of it, but it affected a lot of his game plan and pop players, really Guilty Gear players in general were like, holy shit, like that is so, once again, pop players are gonna be like, oh my God, character dead. They weren't really wrong, but like it really did hinder like the fun aspect, the interaction, and what they really, built the character up from the beginning, because it's something he always had. Right. So they're like, yo, we really fucked up. Is what they're basically saying is we really fucked up but luckily we're giving them feedback. Luckily they're listening, right? They could easily just be like,
no thanks,
post arc revo, fuck it, and we just have to hold that shit. But
they had no other what's it called? They had no other choice but to listen, because the patch when they dropped it was so destructive in the sense of what they did with the RAM buff, and there were a multitude of things that either changed unintentionally or intentionally.
And also kind of like it didn't leave the greatest taste in people's mouth too, because like it also pushed things like Team of 3 out and this ranking system, and then like you focused on that, and then you gave us this as the balance, and the balance was just not. I'm like, where are your like it just didn't get. They want to save face now, which understandably they should. Because they've been doing this long, and they're like the longest or the oldest in like things like the Evo lineup, as Static likes to say nowadays. So they should have things on lock, like, and there are still things that are critical to the game that are missing. And when we get a balance like this, it just kind of adds to that frustration.
I mean, they're not the only ones dealing with this either, because we just saw it with Street Fighter, where they threw a patch out there that made no sense to throw out at that time. And then broke the game with the parries reflecting, but they did fix it.
Oh yeah, that was a hot fix. That was a hot fix. Yeah.
This
is not.
Yeah, right. But still, Cammy and Luke, not Cammy and Luke. Who's the other character that got injured? Oh, Ed.
No, it's just Ed and Cammy. Ken's still doing war crimes out there.
Untouched.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Well, so here's.
Listen, he's a bum now. He lost all his money. Capcom's like, we're sorry. We are sorry.
I think I truly think their mistake was just putting out Team of 3. When they should, after the beta, they should have just reworked it and did another beta for it. I actually think it was very, very unreasonable due to the fact that we were adding new moves. It just didn't make sense. It was like, you're going to split all your resources, and you guys watched me play against freaking Gold Lewis with Dizzy. I was like, how am I supposed to fight this? I don't.
Yeah.
So like, they just really, really should focus on the main game right now, and then come back to the Team of 3, maybe do another beta. I think it's
we'll have to see.
It's up, but I don't know. The beta should be only rollback beta. I don't know. Redo your internet beta, only Ethernet beta. I don't know.
They gotta work on that.
So the development work on all the adjustments, as they said, have been completed, and the final checks are going on the way. Preparation for a 23rd release. So hey, just in time for Christmas, you might actually be able to enjoy some Strive, and they'll be sending out some patch notes being released at a later date, obviously with some more details. These were just the big 3 that they pointed out. We don't know if they're trying to look at other characters that also got touched, like your Anjis or even like your Bikins and such, because there were a lot of reworks that did go down. There are some that didn't really that crazy, but overall, like Pot was like kind of the big one that made the biggest waves, that people were like, yo, this is kind of nuts.
I do have a hot take though. Nerf Potemkin or remove him from the game.
Wow. GG. You play Slayer. Get out of here. You play Slayer.
GG. No,
might as well just put him out his misery.
I can play Slayer, but they can grab me out of everything. I don't know.
Yeah. Just put them out their misery is what you're trying to say.
All I'm saying is that I jump, I die. I dash, I die.
Do anything, you die.
Dre will just be in my stream like, let's learn the game, and I'll be like, shut up, Dre. No.
He would. He gets mad all the time. All right. So before we take a quick break, guys, got a quick heads up I want to get into. is our polls that we did last week. We actually ended up we were checking out the last characters that got released for KOF 15, which was Mature and Vice. We asked you guys, Mature or Vice? 59% of you guys said Vice. My man, my peoples, they know. They know.
They don't like fireballs.
It's always the crazy ones. It's always the crazy ones. We can fix them, I swear. And like I said, that utility with that crazy arm or arms, you can't ignore that. Mature is cool and all. Projectiles are nice, but when you can grab the remote from across the living room, that's also a plus. So you guys make me very proud. I'm very stoked on that one. I was definitely in Vice, Camp Vice for that one. All right, so guys, we're gonna be taking a quick break. We'll be right back after this. We're gonna talk about some a little bit of drama that went through from Kings of the World, last premiere event that happened for Street Fighter 6. So don't go anywhere. Right back. All right, and we are back. Last episode of this year. Last premiere of the year as well for Street Fighter 6. Kings of the World just wrapped up. Had incredible matches. We're not really going to talk about the tournament itself on this one. We'll talk more about like the Capcom Cup qualifiers as we go on, because there's still about 9. I believe there's 9 slots left. Okay. 9 or 10. Yeah, we're like 38 or 30 or 39 qualifiers already. There's a 48-man bracket. Remember, for Capcom Cup. So there's still plenty of finals online, World Warriors to finish up before we get to that stage. But what we're going to be talking about is really something that comes up every once in a while. And I think we're getting to the boiling point. I think it's getting to that point where it should be something that we need to make some action, but it's a very difficult thing to just kind of get going. And it's the competitive standard for our tech, for our stations, our battlegrounds, as they may be, right? For the setups, man, the setups. Can't have no tournaments without setups, right? Like, at that point, you're just hanging out, which is cool and all, but I'm not trying to just pay all this money just to hang out, man. I'm trying to do a little bit more than that. So this kind of started up with a tweet post-Kings, or not even post-Kings, post-match, as they normally do, right? The salty tweet, the post-lost tweet.
Yeah.
It happens. It's understandable. It's normal. I'm not gonna knock anybody that hasn't doesn't want to do it. But this one actually came from Ending Walker, stating, with this being the end of the season, I think it's finally time I share my opinion on this. PS5 is not a competitive console. It's inconsistent, laggy. The vast majority of pro players use PC to practice. Flying 10 hours to go to a tournament and lose to the setup without learning isn't okay. There was just many more. It was a bit of a longer thread. Just kind of breaks down as to like the format and it being inconsistent between different tournaments, because hey, you're not just going under one tournament, right? You're a world warrior when you're competing in fighting games, if you're lucky enough to be a world warrior, right? To be able to travel internationally, all over. But shit, even if it's just nationally, right? There's gonna be some inconsistencies and setups at times. But yeah, it's starting to hit that boiling point, because this kind of started the conversation again, right? That good old conversation. Like, yo,
the one that never leaves.
Yeah, like, okay, it's kind of really two conversations. The one is, we're not really gonna jump into the, oh my god, PCs need to hurry up and take over. They do, they really do. Like, I'll cut it quick and short. Like, PCs are the optimal way. There are many other esports that made it the standard that fighting games need far less to do, like power to actually make happen, right? To get our consistent frames and all that. But really, for me, this is more about like quality assurance, like and the standard in terms of the setups is like the biggest problem that I think we're facing.
And I saw Punk also sent out a
tweet.
Yeah. He said, "Never again this pathetic premiere I've been to. Call me salty. I don't care. This would have been better on a Game Boy Advance."
Yeah, that was fun.
That's fire. Yeah, and I get it, because he even said in a previous tweet that they were like run by Samsungs, and it's not like Samsung is the most noted. I mean, you want to usually
I'm not buying.
Evo goes by Zowie, and they're owned by Sony, and there's like Sony things that are connected, like even a PS5 knows what a Zowie, like they connect basically. But like this not like back in the day when we had like everything was on like, let's say Asus or
Acer.
Ace.
We got Acer sometimes.
There was a lot of times where we went to BenQ's or
we did.
There was a lot of different ones that were talked about. But then every time, I'm not gonna lie to you, every stream setup I hear from everyone, not saying, and mind you, I never make it on stream, so I don't know. But
that's a lie.
Every stream setup has always been, you always see somebody go, yo, that thing was so laggy up there.
Yeah.
Almost every time.
And even sometimes you'll see stream setups are different from the pool setups.
Yeah.
As well. But yeah, it's a matter for me. It's like the discussion of it's really should be like, yes, PS5s, this console has been pretty notorious for a couple of things, right? The overheating. We've seen it in bigger tournaments that they rotate them around, right? Like they'll have some on for several hours, turn them off sometimes, or even swap them for others so they can, ones that haven't been used all day yet. Sometimes that adds complications because like, oh my God, this one didn't have the DLC and such, right? Like there's some issues there.
Sticks into the back, not the front.
Sticks in the back, but then you could melt shit because of the fucking amount of heat that comes out the back. It's so problematic. And like, we're the only ones that deal with, like, I feel like we're the only ones that deal with it like that. Like, I do not hear it from any other
like
competitive
Call of Duty or anything like
esport.
Right.
Like, dude,
but does Call of Duty use Xbox?
They're on PC.
They're on PC, dude.
They're on PC now. Okay.
Like,
I know they
like,
used to use Xbox.
So the whole idea of quality assurance is something I feel like that we shouldn't ignore. And like, to put it in perspective, right? For fucking like when we're doing League or Valorant, any subtle change that we're doing for our systems in Riot, like, it needs to go through a process, and not even just from us. Like, the players need to be involved in this from the rep. Hey, we're looking at a monitor. What are your thoughts? We did tests. This is what we've come up with. What are your thoughts? They'll come in and test it out, and nothing will get changed unless it's unanimous. Like, it needs to be agreed upon. And like, it makes sense because these are franchises. These are people these are teams that have bought in millions of dollars. Like, there needs to be a consistent competitive base here. Fighting games just throws that shit out the window, right? Where there's like way more fucking competitors to deal with. And like, we just need to come up with a quality assurance or really demand that quality assurance is the big thing for me.
I think it's one of the reasons I think is that we have open tournaments, right? So like, a lot of those times you see there's almost a LAN center on those stages that have like so many, let's say there's like 5 rows of 6 different PCs where pro players are playing in their skirmishes and their brackets that are invitationals, where they're invited to either bring their computers or even just have computers that are set up to play at the optimal settings that they want to play. Whereas in these tournaments, let's say the last one I went to was ECT, and there's all those was it Zowie? Is it the brand of the big white monitors and the headsets? InZones. Thank you. Those are the ones. The InZone headphones and TVs. And I mean, we're playing on them, but let's say Joe Schmo goes there, first tournament ever. He's not going to know the specs, but his opponent might, and he might be sitting there like, what is this guy complaining about? Let's just play the game. Let's play the match. And like, they end up playing the match. He beats him. He ends up beating him. But the pro player wasn't like, you see what I mean? Like, where's the fight? And then especially since they're going to be playing on the same system, same monitor, whereas those events that you're talking about have everybody playing on their own monitors, but they're all connected by LAN. So it's like,
yeah, well, it's also there's a spec that's kind of being met, like this many hertz, this many refresh rates, right? That we need to have. You need to have this many frames. Like, it's just inconsistent. Like this is what came up, right? Chucks _FGC kind of put up a pretty cool tweet, like, hey, tournaments running PS5 need to ensure all monitors are 120 hertz VRR, which is variable refresh rate, right? Compliant. Cables and splitters that are HDMI 2.1, no Bluetooth connections, USB communication, wired controllers only. consoles not overheating. Like, these are basic things, but these are things that get overlooked. Even that one, like number 2, cable splitters that are HDMI 2.1 compliant and such.
Worst.
Like, that is such a simple thing that people think like that isn't a big deal. Like, it fucking matters. And like, there's no doc, there's no reference, there's nowhere to really point out and be like, this is the golden standard we should go by. And it sucks that it's still console, to be perfectly honest. That's like, once again, that's another fucking conversation. We can spend multiple podcasts, so we can spend an entire year talking about it. It sucks that we're still on fucking console. I think we need to get the fuck out of there. But there's just so many layers to come to that. But for me, it's like, where's the reference? Where's the guidance here from like Capcom or whatever to make sure things hit? Because once again, I'm just going to pull it back. Like, when it comes to, for us at Riot, like, you know, if we have partners, we make sure they meet the bar that we set for one, ourselves, and because it's for the players, right? We're for the players, but it's for the competitive integrity to make sure that they can still play to the level that they are known to play, to give that experience for themselves, but also to the viewer. And it's like, you need to meet this requirements. Does Capcom not go out and be like, hey, you're running this tournament, right? You're a premier. Yeah. Like, I don't want to say like it has to be everywhere, because you know what, you know, your homeboy down the block that's doing a Friday night fight doesn't need to worry about that. It's just, hey, yo, whatever monitors we got, we just run it. Cool, bet, no problem. But when they're premiers and they're supposed to be the basically the funnel into the pro league, right, into those finals, they should be stringent on those regulations and those standards moving forward.
I mean, because at the end of the day, those guys, the Riots and the what's the other one? Yeah, Riot and all the other, you know, brands, they're gonna hear it at the end of the day, like from those pro players that have 100,000 followers and all the tweets. I mean, what's Capcom gonna say? Yeah, but what's Capcom gonna say? Oh, okay. We can still make a new Street Fighter game. You know what I mean? But like, when it comes to Riot games, then games that are actual, I don't want to say esports, because fighting games are esports, but like when it comes to that, they're water under the bridge.
We're definitely behind. We're definitely behind. Yeah, right. We're behind. We're behind. Unbelievably behind.
I think that the problem here is like I'm not gonna bring that up. I'll just say it this way. Past, they just told us to deal with it. Whether we had no sound, whether we had whatever setup, right? So we were kind of molded that way to not care as much, and the new generation isn't. They're like, hey, problem. No one's gonna solve it, because I don't know why they're just not banding together to say something. It's as easy as this. If you have enough time to go say what you want online, I agree. Go make a goddamn document with the top damn players. You guys can sit in the same lobby and play each other and bitch about it, but you won't go make a document about it. That's a little ridiculous to me. And if you want the standard to be a certain way, look, I'm going to be honest. You're going to rule out a lot of TOs that aren't Capcom based, that are like, we can't provide PC. And that's understandable. But you have to do this is a Capcom limit level of what we need. And this is a base TO tournament that we need, like what we need. Yeah. You obviously, we're never going to get the maximum because it's going to cost too much. We don't make enough. You know what? Let me correct myself. Let me say it this way. If you are a TO and you know you're capable of affording this stuff because you should be putting back into the company, don't bullshit your way and be like, well, I'd rather pocket 10K and not spend as much. And then next year I'll pocket another 10 or 20K. You know, it just doesn't make sense. But as we could say Capcom all we want, but at the end of the day, Capcom's like, we're already doing all the hard work. And that is true. They really are. They made the game. They're updating the game. They're paying for the events that they can. They are putting up the money. So could I really get mad at them 100% when they've already partnered with Sony? No, I'm going to get mad at Sony before I get mad at Capcom. Because here's the thing. We could say all we want to Capcom. They still have to talk to Sony, and if they do, Sony's gonna be like, no, this is how we want it. We want our monitors, right? Only at these events. Other people, we don't care. Y'all figure it out. You know, so I think we can't really attack the top before we can talk to the TOs first. And if you can't talk to the TO, well, it starts with the quote-unquote pro players. Because I'm gonna be honest, I'm not a high-level Street Fighter 6 player. but I may know something about the monitors and whatnot, but it's not going to matter coming from me. It's going to matter coming from them more. So if they make a statement,
or the grassroots, yeah. I think it's still. I think it's multi-level. I think definitely grassroots is a big. Grassroots is a big component to it on creating that standard. But like, yeah, the pros, those that have the thought, they have the voice to also speak out about it, which I mean they are doing. It's just
they're speaking, they're not doing. That's what I hate about this shit. I'm sorry, it's true. Wait, when we didn't have headsets for certain events like Apex 2013, I believe it is, we said, yo, they need to start having headsets at every event. What started happening? We started pushing and lobbying for headsets. Yo, Big E, you need headsets. Guess what? They started popping up here and there. We said, yo, event, we need headsets. Yes, I know. Here and there. That's why I said here and there. But as we kept pushing for it, it happened. But just saying it on Twitter, that ain't gonna do shit. I get it. We want to use the Twitter war and power to be like, yo, go attack them and be like, we need to change the standard. Why don't you guys just write something out? It takes like 2 fucking seconds. Clearly, you wrote that shit out. You could write that out. Come on, you know the standard. I'm sorry. I didn't get any standard of what the standard's supposed to be reading Ender Walker's thing, and he's a pro player. You guys play on PC. Okay, they can't afford to do PCs. So what's the next best option?
Well, so I see a lot of people saying to boycott them, and Automatic has a point. Like, you boycott them, there's going to still be people that are just going to gatekeep and get the pot. The pot's still going to be there. Like, what did he say in particular? Automatic, somebody said boycott. He said, the problem is that someone will just take their spot and where there is a big prize pool on the line.
You think the Japanese player over there is going to give a fuck if you decide to boycott and not show up? And he shows up, he's going to be like, I flew all the way out here. I'm here to make money.
Free bracket, kid.
Exactly. He said, oh, Punk XYZ didn't show up. I don't give a fuck. I'm here.
Right.
I think everything that we do is always going about it wrong lately. Is like, let's just bitch about it. Let's not like actually be constructive. Not you guys, but I'm saying like.
Yeah, no, but I think him posting, because this is getting the most traction out of it, obviously. Not Punk's, because Punk we already seen. Like, I think Punk's biggest tweet was what he did for like Big E when that free tournament happened at Winter Brawl, and then it almost like destroyed Winter Brawl. Like, and Big E was like, why'd he post that? And it was like, all right, and he posted it, and it was like he had to delete it, but the damage was done. But like he was right though. And I think that's the problem. Like, you have to look at it from who was the most right. Like, if he's gonna tweet that out, was he right? Then people will. And now you see Edwin Walker, who, by the way, has been consistently in the tournaments. It made top three Evo, right? Top 3, almost every top 8 in Capcom Fighters. I mean, and all of the responses here could be either that he's very right, but I'm also looking at some of the viewing the quote tweets, and some of them are just like, oh, why don't you just play on PS5? And it's like, dude, they've been playing on PS5. That's not the problem. That's PS5. Exactly.
Like, you're gonna get that.
You can go all the way back. Chris G retweeted. He said, hey, I was the guy that got Xbox to be the main one for Marvel 3. Because he lost to Send Your Taxi. Not to take any credit away from Send Your Taxi.
I remember that.
I think it was 5 frames of lag.
Yes, because PS3, you could obviously see when, all right, Super Scroll would win in Xbox, it looked fine. His fire would look fine. But when you see the fire on PS3, it looked weird. It was like the screen just looked weird. And I could tell, I was like, oh man, that really looks smooth. But I'm like, I think that's just weird. Like, I'm going off on a tangent. But obviously, you can tell there was a difference between Marvel 3 on PS3 and Marvel 3 on Xbox. And even PC is a little bit more optimized, even though we don't want to use Parsec. There's obviously some sort of dynamic where it can be better. We should look for what would be the best competitive way to play the game. And if the specs have to meet a certain design, we get a document where each PC would play on that design, and we'd have ourselves a real slobberknocker of a match.
Yeah, but that takes coordination, and we're still
coordination.
FGC coordination.
We're still so there's still. Yeah,
don't say we're
a ruling body for that.
But
like, it's difficult.
It won't change Evo because it is sponsored by Sony.
You know what? We don't know that. We really don't know. I mean, yes, looking outside, you could be like, Sony's on it. Yes, get them their headphones, give them their monitors, and yes, put their consoles on there. But
But that's evil.
don't have
This is
to.
also a Capcom Cup issue.
Yeah,
as well.
yeah, exactly. This is
Right.
like an overarching, like this is a systemic problem. It's not just a single event thing. It's a systemic problem. It's just we have to, like, if we're keeping the competitive integrity, if these are supposed to be the competitions we look on to tell us these are the best of the best, or this was the route to them becoming the best, it needs that standard needs to be there to kind of like not have that what if question of, oh, well, what if Ending Walker did get that combo at King of the World, right? Kings of the World. How would that have changed things? Because the setup, right? Like, I know that's like really tough to be like, oh my God, now you're just like undervaluing, or you're insulting the player's, like, skill. I'm like, no, it's just like literally, like, there are just some things here that are actually outside of their control because of them just playing the game.
Granted,
he should never be a thing.
He didn't do it. What was it? He waited to complain until the very end, until you had nothing else to actually, qualify for.
Yeah.
Like, granted, you could have made the sound earlier, but then at the same time, he's questioning, he's doubting himself. Is it me? Is it the game? Is it me? Is it the game? Is it me? Is it the game? I don't know.
Has Ending Walker qualified? That's the real question.
No, that's why.
So
I'm not saying that's why. That's why he tweeted.
But I think that's the problem, right? If you really realistically look at it, if you or I did not make top 8 and we complain about something like this, it's like, oh, you're just bad.
Yeah,
right?
Option select, bro.
And it's like, Ending Walker's not a bad player. Far from it. If anything, should probably be in Capcom Pro Tour, like Capcom Cup,
easily.
right? But then it's like, well, maybe you just didn't perform those times that you needed to, right? So now it's are you just bad? Because some people posted, they're like, oh, you're a pro player, you should just get better, learn to play under the circumstances. And I was like, look, I am totally aware, me personally, going to Rumble in the Tundra, great example. I was unprepared for upstate New York. It was cold as shit. All right. No one told us, any of us, that it was going to be that cold. Most of us had sweaters on and we were freezing in the venue. There was no heat. So that should tell you, there are some things we can't play, that we can't effectively control. But the one thing that we do have control over is showing up with our stick, showing up with our pad, showing up to the venue on time, making sure that the TOs actually provide us with the proper stuff to play. That should be the TOs thing. That should be such a good thing. Oh my God. Yeah, I know. Right? I know.
Putting the measuring tape.
Yeah. let me just get the smallest violin for every time we have to deal with bullshit at an event. That would be, the violin would grow over time. It's just sad.
I've had my share of complaints at an event where it's like, dude, the seating is terrible. Why do I have to play this guy? Like, again, it's a local though. You're gonna have to obviously run into somebody. There's every event. Not every event is perfect. Obviously, you can't run a perfect event. It's impossible. You can learn from every event. But I mean, like, if that's his OS, you want to say, maybe he has a point. Maybe right.
I think he's truly genuine. I just think people are gonna turn it into that. But overall, there is room for improvement. Maybe we do need a committee. Maybe we do need an association
or
that
just
steps in.
or just regulation from these tours,
because like, then there won't be an excuse. The excuse would be, damn, I lost.
Exactly. That's it. Yeah. You were better. That's it. Let's just call it that. Like, that should only be the only thing that comes to your mind.
My personal opinion, just go play a different game.
or stop. Yeah, just quit.
That's just the
truth. See you later.
Just go play a different game. I mean, you invested so much time into Street Fighter. What's wrong with Tekken? Oh yeah, it doesn't have $1 million.
But also at the end of the day, like, you got to understand, not a lot of people are going to have the same complaint as his because they don't have the same amount of experience. Like, I'm not going 10-2. He's going 10-2. Let's say maybe 8-2, 8-1, 20,002, and he's got so much experience, and he's like, I'm messing up my combos. I'm still beating this player, but I'm still messing up my combos, and I would just have to beat him by just grab looping him. Like, what if he doesn't want to win that way? He says he's missing his whiff punishes, his fireballs, and all of that. But at the end of the day,
like something that you can't.
If he didn't have these complaints, then he'd obviously say, damn, that player was good.
Was just the day. I have a quick question for Dre. I think you would probably connect with this a little bit more. I watch a lot of stuff from previous times, like from whether it's Dota or back in the day CS like 1.5, even further. Those people who played on the shittiest of systems, who had to eventually play on better, higher quality things. They did say, hey, this is better for me, but they had to start somewhere where it was bad. Do you think that's the same mentality we're at right now? Or do you think that's like, we've evolved past that point? That shouldn't happen. Because I mean, that made great players, the ones who played under these terrible conditions. And I know I'm asking like something kind of like outlandish, like very probably far-fetched and stretched. But like those players played sometimes under 30 FPS versus the people who were able to play under 60 FPS or a little bit higher.
Kind of, because if you look back at like some of the worst tournaments in like esports history, setups was always a complaint because they didn't meet a criteria. And that's what I mean by like, we, in fighting games, we've always been cursed because we've always been around consoles. Like it was arcades, then it was consoles. And technically you could say consoles are an upgrade because consoles did eventually become just better machines, right? Than the arcades. But we were still just stuck to console versus like they were, when it's like PC gaming and such, like there was just the standard that got built there. And then because of just the nature of it being PC gaming, like it was never a second thought. They were just able to upgrade and improve and create that standard and accept, 120 hertz, 144 hertz, 165, 240, 360 now, right? Like, and it's just been agreed upon as to like, I don't know, man. They see it objectively like, yes, this is better because of this. Here's the reasoning. But because PCs kind of also allow you to tweak that, it's gonna sound weird because it's like some games, it's like, you have your own station. You just build your own, you got your own mouse with your own DPI. You have your own refresh rate. You have your own resolution. There are some pro players that play on 4x3.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like, today, modern games, because maybe they sit a certain distance from the screen and they can't actually see past the 9, or they stretch, right? Like the stretch resolution. It was just a part of how they were built. Like how that scene just grew. We just ended up growing in consoles, and that unfortunately has kind of like locked us in.
Yeah, it's weird.
And it's going to be a monumental movement to change that. Like it's a detriment, and it's a big movement to change that. But like, at the very least, what we can ask is for some quality assurance here. Because you don't want to have these tweets. These are not the tweets you want to hear about your tournament. For your tournament itself, or for, as a reflection on the scene itself, that we're a scene that can't even get their setups together correctly in a competitive sense because we have no standard. What the fuck? Like that's supposed to be that's a day one thing.
That's supposed to be the easy part.
This is how you all play, and this is how we dictate, and this is the setup in which to dictate your skills. Our shit is all over the place.
It's weird. The hard part is supposed to be to get the players to come out. They're coming out.
There's no one checking. Yeah. There's just like no one checking, and it's just like. Okay. Do we not want it? I don't know.
I will say the one thing before I'm done with this topic is I feel like the best thing top players can do, and it may be a little different because we probably can't go to COD and be like, hey guys, how did you guys switch over? Because I would assume they probably switched over because they were like, oh, it's easier for crossplay, or it's easier for, anti-cheat stuff, right? Like that, right? We don't have that issue. So I don't know what community we would have to talk to see if they dealt with something like this. But I mean, I don't know. Smash might be a scene more than anything where they have a standard that's so simple. Oh, hey, bring a CRT. That's really kind of what they've turned out to be.
You're right. I'm sorry. I want to speak into my mic. I have a third-party controller adapter for Smash for the Switch. And some people actually prefer not to play on those. They prefer to play on the Nintendo license one.
The official, yeah.
So there you go. Yeah, you have those.
Yeah, there's a standard.
Yeah.
But Pokken, we had a standard. You were not allowed to play with a pro controller that actually was not connected. You had to be connected. Just
we have these standards when it comes to controllers. Yeah. Even using the Brooks and the third parties and all of that stuff.
So I just think that like looking back, we built a standard because we all found unanimously like playing on Xbox, even Street Fighter 4 was getting played on Xbox. Everything was on Xbox, right? But everything was done right. we all knew you needed this type of monitor, you need one MS, right? We weren't all these things. So I just think that we need to do the same.
We do. We definitely do. That's what I'm saying. That's why I kind of wanted to bring this up, because I think it's getting to a boiling point. I think with 2025, we might actually see more of if these tweets continue on, I think we're gonna maybe see it's the opportunity for Capcom to kind of implement something like this once the Capcom Cup is done, once the TWT is all set, TWT is finished up, the Arc World Tour is done. I think it's an opportunity to start 2025 fresh with something new. And I mean, there's no, because I'll tell you right now, if they don't, whatever, there's the ever looming idea that maybe 2X is gonna create that standard. It's gonna push something like that. Who knows? I'm not here to confirm nor deny that, but whatever game does it, whatever scene does it, it's just gonna follow suit. Someone needs to take the lead. That's all it is. We're one of those scenes. You just need to wait for somebody to make that jump. Once you do, and you realize you can get to the other side, we'll be right behind. Lemmings, I think that's what it's called. In the meantime, though, we want to hear from you guys. What platform do you prefer playing fighting games on, and why? That's going to be our question of the week this week. We're going to be posting that up on our socials as well as on our Discord. And if you want to comment on your favorite podcast platform of choice, like Spotify, feel free to put it up there. Unfortunately, Spotify doesn't allow us to put up any questions anymore, but we do have polls. Which, by the way, we'll just throw that on there. What's your favorite type of fighting game content? We want to hear from you guys. It's coming into 2025. We're going to be working on some things, and we want to hear from you guys. What is your favorite style of fighting game content? We'll have a bunch of different choices for you guys. It could be tournaments, matches, analysis, original content, tier lists.
Quizzes.
Real, nobody likes tier quizzes. Let us know. Maybe podcast. Maybe podcast is your favorite fighting game content. Let us know. We're gonna be posting up those polls as well on all those platforms. But that is gonna be it for us this week, guys. We appreciate y'all hanging out with us for another episode of Double Tap, another year of Double Tap. Once again, this is the last episode for 2024. We will have an additional bonus round coming out, some content with an awesome community member. He's going to be posting out this month. So we're only going to have 1 week technically when we're not going to have any content, but we'll be live back again January 7th with a new episode of Double Tap coming into the new year 2025. We're going to be on our holiday break until then. We appreciate y'all listening and hanging out with us. Make sure to follow my awesome hosts, even though we're not going to be here for about a week or so. Yes. They're probably going to be streaming. They're going to be working on some stuff. Make sure to go follow Meza at Meza FGC, of course, on all social media platforms as well as on Twitch.
Yes, sir. Currently, we just finished our championships for DFO. It was great, and also released an album. So if you guys want to check it out, it's on Spotify. Nightfall X Music.
There you go. And check out Static Gorilla at Static Gorilla on all social media platforms as well as on Twitter. Well, yeah, on Twitter,
yeah.
But on Twitch.
X. No, yes, X. On Twitch. So I think I'm done playing Marvel Parsec. Whoa,
what?
I know, right?
Are you playing offline somewhere?
Crazy. No. But I will be switching it up a little bit. I want to sort of maybe make a schedule. So let's see more of what 2025 has to bring. But there is a huge backlog of video games that I want to play. Lately, I've been on maybe I should play Chrono Trigger games. So games that I've always heard that were good, but never got to play. So eventually, we'll be getting onto that idea shortly. Eventually. I said that twice. That's fine.
There you go. And make sure to follow the show at Double Tap FGC once again on all social media platforms as well as on YouTube, where you can get a video version of this podcast there. So come say what's up. Make sure to tag us if you see any articles, anything you guys want us to check out, post it up, let us know about it. And you guys can also join our Discord. Come say what's up. It's the holiday season. Want to get some matches? We're going to be free. Can have some time. Make sure to join doubletap.gg/Discord. Come say what's up to our awesome community there. Much appreciated to everyone over there posting out, saying what's up, talking about Virtua Fighter, all this other good stuff. Come join us there. But once again, that is going to be it for this year. That's going to be it for this episode. All love. Happy holidays. Stay safe. Be on the grind. If you're going to come into 2025 to compete, this is the time to do it. Don't see why you can't. Plenty of great games ahead. But until then, we'll see you guys once again come January. We'll see y'all in the new year. Be safe out there. Don't respect frame advantage. It's just a social construct. It's not real. It can't hurt you. take those words into the new year. But that's it, guys. Thanks for hanging out. See y'all next year. Peace.